Bro, you know how we're like the anti-nerd culture professional wrestling. Like
Right.
it's like you I mean, you really can't find a lot of wrestling fans today that be guys that would like to come with us to the club.
Right.
You know, so they're all kind of like. I thought this tweet was hysterical. Dave I've retweeted this. This is as typical of like the nerd culture wrestling fans. Get ready for the who's on this, right? Dave tweeted, "How was Miyahara versus Aoyagi yesterday? Was it a candidate for best match of the week?"
Who?
It's like I have no clue. I mean, like, I don't know. It's like wrestling's going off the rails to me. It's like I don't know. It's like the WWE is doing some really good stuff right now, and it's like I don't know. The rest of wrestling is just immersed in nerd culture, you know. And I don't know if I don't know what can what if it can be saved.
Well, the thing is that I don't think they're the majority, though. I just think that it's like anything else. You know, probably, like remember when Balloon Head used to say, "Oh, I'm hardcore punk" or whatever he was, right? So you had like punk, and then you had like hardcore punk, and then you had like, like you have rap, and you have gangster rap, and you have, whatever. So I just think that it's just a niche audience, but like any niche audience, they're very passionate, and he's still, which I can't believe, bro, because I'm tired of watching wrestling, and so are you.
Right.
But he still likes it. Like Dave still like sits down and watches wrestling matches.
Watches the matches from start to finish.
Yeah, to see how good they are.
And
I'm
good
like,
grief,
really, dude?
Seriously, bro, and I'm telling you, this is problematic for the future wrestling. Bro, they're not drawing new fans. The mean age of the audience keeps going up. It's like,
listen, they're not drawing new fans, but here's the thing, bro. And I actually read this from the chief content officer of Warner Brothers. What's the D? Discovery?
Yeah, Warner Brothers Discovery, yeah.
Warner Brothers Discovery. And this is exactly what she said. She said Rampage and Dynamite, both of them, are bringing in very good numbers for us. Okay? And
I find that hard to believe.
She said it. Look it up, Joe. Chief content officer for it's a girl, it's a lady, and it was like 3 days ago.
If she's saying that, the expectations must be extremely low.
Discovery Chief.
Listen, go ahead and read it.
Discovery Chief Content Officer Catherine Finch. Okay, Fightful shared this. Then
did you subscribe to Fightful, by the way?
I did.
Who?
Do you still do it?
No.
I would continue to do it just so we can get like some of their content. I mean, I'm not going to pay for them, but I think you should.
Okay, basically it just says a lot of families watch wrestling. I was very surprised to learn this. I have a huge respect for this audience. AEW wrestling airs on 2 of our networks.
Wait a minute. Wait. Read that first sentence again. This is a chief content officer for Warner Brothers Discovery?
Yeah, I'll take it back a little bit. It says, this may surprise you.
Hey, tell them who she is. Read her title.
Kathleen Finch, Chief Content Officer for Warner Brothers Discovery. Okay. And she says, this may surprise you to know that I did not know much about wrestling before I took this job.
Okay, let's stop right there.
Yeah.
So you have a person has she took a job and she has limited knowledge of this content. All right, so continue. Right. All right, go ahead.
I know I seem like a wrestling fan, but I'm not. I did have a lot to learn about the audience. A lot of families watch wrestling. I was very surprised to learn this. I have a huge respect for this audience. AEW wrestling airs on 2 of our networks, TNT and TBS, and on both nights it kills. Finding something else that speaks to that audience, that would be gold. And she's referring to Power Slap following it.
How on earth can she, so she's admitting that she has limited knowledge of this. How on earth could she look at those numbers? And maybe she's look at them in a vacuum. But
no, because you don't need to know something. Listen, you don't need to know.
Let me finish my point.
Yeah.
How could you look at those numbers that look at your competitors' numbers that are twice as much as yours? And so they're going like, well, why on earth is it if it's wrestling, why are they doing twice as many viewers as we are? And on Friday, we're doing 5 times as many viewers as
okay, they may be doing twice as many viewers, but on her network, because I've seen Tony post this before, and I don't think he'd be dumb enough to post something if he's going to get dragged. Right. And it'll say stuff like, another week in a row, we were the number 1 show in our time slot on this channel. Another week in a row, we were number 2.
On cable.
So right.
I think the thing is... Well, here's the thing.
What are you supposed to do, not tout that?
I think that cable television is so these days that they're looking at these numbers, which are kind of like, they're comfortable numbers in the cable climate, which cable TV is terrible. There's very few shows other than sports that people are watching on cable TV. Everybody's watching streaming.
Right.
There's not a lot of like, bro, if I ask you, okay, tell me a show.
And they're watching wrestling because Dynamite's doing good numbers for cable and Raw's doing good numbers.
Well, they're doing good numbers compared to like the rest of cable, but they're not doing good numbers compared to their competition.
No, bro, their competition has a 40-year head start, and they do better than they do.
I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that excuse.
Well, it's part of the deal, bro. It's part of the deal. If you've got 40 years in a business and somebody just starts, okay, wait a minute. You've got 40 years of experience, but nevertheless, the show is better. The show's just better. Everything. It's better. WWE is better produced, better everything.
I'm aware of that. I agree. I do agree with that.
There's a reason why it has better ratings.
And
but they also have a brand name that's been around for 40 years. So if you got a beer that just came out and it's been around 2 or 3 years, it's going to be hard for them to knock off Budweiser or Heineken off the market because they got to be in a while. Even though if the beer's good or not, maybe the beer's good, but you're not going to be in as many stores. You're not going to have the brand recognition that another one has, Right. And it's like agree. McDonald's it's not the best anymore, but it is the biggest.
I agree with that. But I think what you're doing then is like you're just accepting very low standards.
Well, maybe not to her it's low standards. But keep reading it. Wait, keep reading it.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, that was it.
But didn't she say something like, we're very happy with the numbers that AEW is doing, bro? That's the part that I wanted Disco to hear.
I think that's the worst thing that she said.
Okay, listen. Let me finish.
Yeah, AEW Wrestling airs on 2 of our networks, TNT and TBS, and on both nights they're killing it. And then that's when she said, find something that speaks to the audience. That would be gold, because she's referring to like maybe they'll follow AEW to Power Slap, which is their hope.
She's a executive. Okay, because like I'll be honest, that literally, if like you're looking at one of your departments, okay, and like perfect example, SmackDown on Friday night is a fantastic lead-in for Rampage. You have 2.5 million people watching SmackDown on Friday night, and literally only 20% of that audience of WrestleFan will turn over and watch Rampage.
Yeah.
And
Rampage is not good. Why would you want to watch it?
Yeah, there's nothing at stake, really.
So she's saying there's nothing wrong with it. We're satisfied. These numbers are great.
Yeah, because on her. Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you're running a network, Glenn, and this show, which maybe is not as good as another show on another network, is number one in that time slot, you're happy with that. That's your number one show.
Okay, let me ask you a question. As a booker of AAA,
right?
All right, and you're on TV in Mexico. Okay, right. Your first day on the job. All right, and 3 years, your first day on the job, you did a number, and 3 years later, you're doing 40% less than that.
Right.
But your boss is telling you, this is great. We're doing great numbers. Personally, are you satisfied with your job?
Well, the thing is, and we've spoken about this before, wrestling's never going to do the numbers it did before.
I asked you a question.
I know where I'm trying to answer it.
All right, go ahead.
And it's never going to do the numbers it did before, but also, I also want to see the numbers of DVR players, and I also want to see the numbers of mobile phones. How am I doing there? I put all that together and I get a truer number than just TV. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't answer my question. Are you satisfied?
Or YouTube views too.
Are you satisfied with your performance as a booker if your boss is telling you these numbers are great, but you're doing 40% less?
All right, but I'm telling you, but if most of that 40% is on mobile devices.
Are you satisfied? Yes or no?
Yes. If yes.
You're satisfied?
Yeah.
You're satisfied with doing 40% less than when you started.
Okay, I'm going to say this one last time because I don't understand what part of this you don't understand. If I take, the mobile phone, that's where most people consume the product nowadays.
Okay.
And I add it on to that, and that makes up for the 40% or maybe 30%. Yeah, then I'm happy.
Okay. So, but then let's compare to your competitor, which is now up 20%.
Right.
You're down 40, they're up 20, and because your boss said, "Hey, we're satisfied with the numbers," and like you're looking at your phone and like look at you're satisfied with your job.
Well,
I would be embarrassed at my performance. But I'm not saying that's it. You're literally. I'm not saying this is you.
Yeah,
I'm saying if this was you, you would seriously be satisfied with doing
because I
that
just
poorly?
said, Glenn, I don't understand why you're not. This isn't computing. If I see that on mobile devices, it's at other 40% or maybe 30%, and I've only gone down 10, I'm cool. Obviously, if my competitor is doing 20% better than me, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to give you an example, and this is a quick story.
Okay.
I would say like 2012, maybe. I don't know the exact year. WWE did something that had never been done in the history of Mexico. There's two huge networks in Mexico, Televisa and TV Azteca.
It's like BBC and BT and over the UK.
Right, and they hate each other. Okay, they're always trying to get the Julio Cesar matches when he was boxing, or Canelo, or the big soccer matches. They're always competing against each other.
Right.
Somehow they got Raw on one show and SmackDown on the other. I don't know how they did it.
Well, that's like USA and Fox.
Yeah.
They're the same thing. They're literally the same thing here. Yeah, go ahead.
And so they were quadrupling us in the ratings.
Right.
And CMLL, which is our Mexican competition, was doing double our ratings.
Right.
Okay. It took me about 2 years to beat CMLL, and they never beat us again.
Right.
And it took me almost 4 years to catch up to WWE, and they never beat us again.
Right.
So, my whole thing is, if somebody's doing better than me, I'm going to do everything I can to surpass them, and I have in the past,
Right. All right. Okay, that's fine.